All right, let's get it. This is Nap Knows Buffalo. Casey didn't even try and jump into
I
the
didn't even
intro
try.
today,
Didn't even try.
and yeah, but we got a great show this week. I'm actually just gonna right off the bat, the first like 10, 15 minutes. If we have some connectivity issues, if the video, the audio is a little jumpy, I apologize. Due to my schedule, I'm not able to record from my place, so we might have a little bit of connection issues for a little bit. But I promise the interview, which is awesome. By the way, Antonio Williams, that's the interview. It's an awesome interview. You guys are gonna love it. That audio, that connection, that's all gonna be great. So if you really need to, go ahead and jump to that. But I think we should be good to go because we've actually been talking for what, like 5 minutes now, and we haven't really had any issues.
Roughly, I don't have a sundial, so I haven't really been keeping up with the time here lately.
And that's how you keep up with time, right? It's the sundial.
A sundial. The first 10 minutes of every show, for those listening on YouTube, the first 10 minutes of every show is just me and Nap just shooting the shit. So if you want to get straight into football talk and just skip out on us, you don't even like us, just go ahead and move the cursor over. Done 10 minutes.
We hope you like us, though.
I hope you do. I mean, I kind of like myself, and Nap's okay.
Sometimes
I eat like 25 quesadillas from the worst restaurant in town, and I regret the next day. But that, neither here nor there. Anything fun happened to you this week?
I mean, no, this week, like I've literally been touring wedding venues, so like it's just been a busy as hell week for me. Like we've been going to venue to venue to venue, and I've been working all like it's been a crazy week for me. So no, I wouldn't say anything too exciting because we haven't booked a place yet. But
Yeah,
we've been keeping busy.
yeah, that's good. That's good. I had the cops called on my house this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. So
okay, this is something we're gonna have to do.
I'm chilling at work, right? And my neighbor calls me, right? So I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey, man, is your wife okay?" First off, if anybody ever starts a conversation like, "Is your wife okay?" and you know your wife's 9 months pregnant, immediately I'm freaking out. Like, yeah, I guess what's going on? He was like, "The cops are here," right? So now I'm sitting here thinking, "Where's my wife?" I thought she was going to Target, right? So I'm freaking out because I've got a baby on the way. I don't know where my wife is. The neighbor's like, "Hey, man, I'll go over there." The police heard a woman scream. I'll go over there. I'll check on your wife. He obviously knows she's pregnant, right? So I like hang up on him. I don't mean to. Dude's a great guy. I was like, I gotta call my wife. Like, shut up, right? So I hang up on him. I call my wife. She waits until the last possible second to answer. Like, I am, dude, you know me. Like, my stomach has dropped. Like, I am freaking out. I'm looking for my keys.
Mhm.
I'm about to race home, right? I'm walking out the door from work to run home, right, to see if my wife's okay. And she finally picks up. She's like, "Hey." I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm doing okay. How are you?" And I was like, "No, where are you right now?" She's like, "I'm at Target." I was like, "Cool. The cops are at the house right now." So yeah, it was a fun little day today, or the other day.
What did they end up being there for?
So
What
the
did,
cop,
did you ever get an explanation from them?
they said they were called because a woman was screaming. So they got a phone call and they said it was my house that the woman was screaming from.
Very difficult for that to happen while you're at work and your wife is at the store.
And then so the neighbor's telling me this, right? As I'm driving back to the house to be like, "What is going on at my, house?" The neighbor's like, "Yeah." The cop was like, "The dogs are barking pretty heavily in there. What's going on in there?" And the neighbor's like, "Well, I mean, you did just walk up to the door and start banging on the door. So what do you expect the dogs to do?" Like the cop was immediately just, and don't get me wrong, he's doing his job, right? He's doing his job. They probably thought it was a domestic dispute in the middle of the day. So he's doing his job, making sure everybody's okay. And I appreciate that. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, ain't nobody home. Like the neighbor told him that like 4 times. He's like, "They're at work. Like no one's home." He's like, "Well, I need to get in there." The neighbor's like, "He's on his way. I don't know what to tell you." So it was fun. It was real good.
Yeah, you know what? That'll keep things interesting when you have to leave work in the middle of the day because of something like that.
My life is a storybook. Yeah, I think my
I
life's
thought
a
you were going to say
novel.
another word that started with an S, but
It is also a shit show, if we're being
yeah,
honest.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
Like, the random things that happen in my life, it's bad. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's eventful. I think
It
eventful is the
keeps me
better way.
on my toes. It keeps me on
Okay,
my
hold on. I'm
toes.
sorry. I keep touching my ear for whoever's watching. Dude, I hate these new AirPods. Do you have the new ones, or do you have like? Does your wife have the new ones? I can see
What am
you.
I,
I shouldn't have even
rich?
said you have them because you clearly aren't wearing them. But
Yeah, no,
these
I
are
got
these
my
are my
wife some.
fiance's. I hate them. I hate these so much.
You get
They
the
don't
original,
stay in
like
my ear.
get the original kind. Like you don't need the third generation. You don't need that.
I normally I have the original ones, but those are in my car right now, and I didn't feel like walking out to my
Mm,
car and get them. So
that's
it is what it
justified.
is. Yeah. I mean,
Justified.
I'm just
Oh,
too lazy.
before we get into Antonio Williams' interview, I don't want to spoil anything, but he did say we were the best interview he's ever done. So there's that's out there. Um, I just want to say that as y'all are
You just
listening to
couldn't help
this,
saying that.
I
You just
couldn't.
couldn't.
But it's the truth. If the dude's gonna say it, why can't I say it, right? As we're listening to this right now, my wife, whereas the viewers are going to be listening, watching it, my wife is going into labor. So that's a fun thing to think
Really? Right
about.
now?
Not right now, but like on
Oh, okay. I was
Friday
gonna.
when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? Because like
Oh yeah. No. I'm an
yeah,
idiot. I'm an idiot.
when the show comes out on
Yeah.
Friday, YouTube as they're watching this, like just know like my wife is being induced at this point. You know what I'm saying? As you listening
For
to
a
it.
second, I was like, wait a second, Casey, what are you doing with me?
Yeah, what am I
It's
doing?
going into labor.
I've wanted her to go into labor as we're recording, so I could be like, "Hey, my wife's going into labor, deuces," and I can get up and leave. Like, think about that. Like, that's juicy. But, anyways, guys, yeah, that's all I want to say is just Friday they're inducing my wife at 5 p.m.
Yeah, so congratulate Casey while you're listening to this. Send him tweets saying congratulations.
Yeah,
His
and
if you don't follow him, it's at CashOutBF, right down there.
right down there. Yeah.
Yep, right down there. So go ahead and follow
And
him at CashOutBF.
and because I'm going to be a daddy, probably on Saturday, I think that we should keep the mean comments about me this week on YouTube to like maybe only 15. Maybe only 15 mean comments.
Just a couple mean
just,
comments, yeah.
Just a couple, like that's fine. But I think because I'm going to be a dad, that we just direct all the attention to Nap this week, and we talk about him. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
that's
there's
fair.
anything. I don't think there's anything bad to say about me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure.
Right there.
Let's
right
not
there.
Do that. Let's not do that. So, some football stuff because this is a football show. There's been a lot of different big topics that have been like, here's the topic of the day type of thing.
I forgot all about this
last week. And I have 3 specific ones that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And because we haven't really talked about them together, but there's the whole Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen debate that I don't know where this came from for the offseason with Ravens fans, but all of a sudden Ravens fans are like really upset that Josh Allen is good. And they're trying to find everything they can to say that he's not a good quarterback, that 1 year of production doesn't matter. And then Bills fans are obviously going back at them, trying to say that Lamar Jackson isn't good. And it's just a whole mess of things. And I got to be honest, I'm kind of just tired of that whole discussion because, like, whether you like their exact skill set or not, they're both good quarterbacks in their own right. Like Josh Allen is obviously he's more of a passing quarterback than a running quarterback at this point, as long as he plays the way he did last year. Lamar Jackson is more of a runner than Josh Allen is, but he gets it done either way. Like they both get the job done. Josh Allen just seemed to he just went a little farther in the playoffs last year, and he didn't throw the game-losing interception. But that's neither here nor there. I think the thing that people seem to forget with this, at least I wouldn't say people forget. I think Ravens fans kind of overlook this, and I'm sure there's plenty of things that they could say like, "Oh, Bills fans overlook this," but I think Ravens fans really overlook the fact that yes, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, if you look at their careers combined, they have similar statistics in certain areas: total yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, all of that stuff. But you should expect that when Lamar Jackson was thrown into a much better situation. Not only that, but even though he wasn't drafted as high, he had already produced in college. And he was at a better position in college, being at Louisville as opposed to Wyoming. So he played with better talent. He played against better talent. Like he was in a better position coming into the league than Josh Allen was. Josh Allen, I think, has progressed a lot more than Lamar Jackson has since being in the league. But like none of that is to say that either like Lamar Jackson, once again, I think he's a good quarterback. I think there's a skill set that he really brings to the table that nobody else in the league does. And I think Josh Allen is a very good quarterback, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But it seems like the two fan bases right now just can't seem to agree on the fact that they're both good. It's crazy to me.
It's the off season. I got crucified last year before the playoff game when I was like, Lamar Jackson doesn't scare me by passing the ball. Like he doesn't scare me when he throws the ball. In fact, I would rather see Lamar Jackson throw the ball than him take off running. Because when he takes off running, you hold your breath when he takes off running because you're like, oh, this dude's about to go 75 yards to the house. Like it's going to be bad. But I got crucified for saying, hey, Lamar Jackson doesn't scare me when he throws the ball. He overthrows some receivers. He's inaccurate, blah, blah, blah. Same can be said about Josh before last year, and I get 1 year of production, blah, blah, blah. I get it, whatever. At the end of the day, you said it correctly. They're both good quarterbacks. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Like, congratulations, you know what I'm saying? It's off-season talk. Now we're just trying to fight people to be fighting people. Lamar still doesn't scare me when he throws the ball. I think until they get a different offensive coordinator and some better receivers, he will not scare me throwing the ball.
I will say, in terms of receivers, like obviously coordinator is no different this year. I'm really interested to see how their new receivers do impact them because they brought in Sammy Watkins.
He'll be hurt by game 3.
They brought in a couple receivers through the draft. Like they brought in some new guys. So I'm really interested to see how that changes him as a quarterback because we all know like there's also the other discussion of like, well, Stephon Diggs made Josh Allen. That's not necessarily the case. They both made each other better, and we don't have to get into that whole thing.
Please don't.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get into that whole thing. But like having better receivers obviously helps any quarterback. So like if Josh Allen still had Zay Jones and Kelvin Benjamin, he's not going to be putting up the same numbers he did last year. That's just the way it goes. Like no great quarterback can consistently produce with bad talent all around him. It just doesn't work like that. So I'm really interested to see what Lamar Jackson does, if it's any different than previous years. But yeah, no, both of them are very good quarterbacks in their own right. They play the game differently, even though like some of their skill sets are similar. Let's just stop doing this.
Let's quit having off-season talks because Travis Kelce made Patrick Mahomes.
So no, and then we get excuses like that where that's more I mean that's along the lines of the Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen discussion.
Yeah, I'm over off-season talk. Like I'm over people waking up and saying Baker Mayfield's better than Josh, and then Bills Mafia on Twitter like blocking them and like I mean not just going in.
It just gets crazy. And it's along the lines of like that's crazy for a different reason than the next topic is crazy because the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which I don't think this was as much of like a topic of the day type of thing, is like I just saw this guy who was just absolutely being an idiot online, and he got me to interact, so like he won, whatever. But there was Bleacher Report put out something about the LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso trade. And LaShawn McCoy was like, I don't even know who that guy was at the time. Like, I had no idea who Kiko Alonso was. So he was pissed, obviously, at the trade. He thought his trade value was higher. And this idiot, John Barchard, I think is how you would pronounce his last name. I think he's
going to come at you.
He'll never see this. He doesn't care about me.
No one listens to this show.
This idiot says no one won that trade. Like, how can you think that that was just even, that we got back the same exact return for that? And there was a couple people that obviously replied and they defended LaShawn McCoy as they should have. Mike K says Buffalo made it to the playoffs for the first time in 20 years with McCoy. And the Jordan shrug emoji, even though it's not a Jordan shrug emoji, but
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Explain what it is. Yeah. And then somebody else, 76 Eagles. Weird name, but whatever, says McCoy also made the Pro Bowl 3 years in a row in Buffalo. In his second season, he had almost 1,300 rushing yards, 13 TDs. Like, the Bills clearly won that trade. And John Burchard comes back with this, and this is the most idiotic thing. $21 million, talking about the salary that had to be paid out to LaShawn McCoy, a bunch of yards, and a gentleman's playoff berth and a rebuild. That's his reasoning why the Bills didn't win that trade. Now, let me ask you this. Did the Eagles win the Super Bowl because of Kiko Alonso? Was he even on the team at that point in time? Like, what? Kiko Alonso did nothing for that team. He was gone. He was gone after a year.
A year, yeah. He was traded. He was traded again the next year. He played 1 year with the Eagles.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but isn't getting a bunch of yards from a eventual Hall of Fame running back a positive? Like, when the Bills had LaShawn McCoy, they were the number one rushing attack in the league for 2 or 3 years.
But also you have to think, you weren't getting prime Shady. You weren't getting that's it. You just weren't getting prime Shady. You were getting, maybe. He was on the decline, and that's fine because you knew what you were getting out of him, and he still produced to what you thought he was going to produce. It's not like you were trading for someone and you were like, you're going to go out and you're going to get us 1,500 yards. Every single, season that you're here, you're going to have 1,500 yards from scrimmage, right? He came close. He did 1,300. I mean, I think that's an overachievement for him, right? For what he did.
He said it himself. LaShawn McCoy got a bunch of yards. And
okay, he's a running back.
Were in a because the Bills were in a rebuild, they weren't on the way up at that point in time because they were within the whole Rex Ryan debacle. But and I think that might have been.
What's up with people liking feet?
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
That's weird.
I don't get it either. But that's all I remember from Rex Ryan. Did he have a picture of his wife's feet?
He had a picture of his wife's feet. Yeah, he was. I mean, Rex Ryan is a weird dude. He's a very weird dude. But why is it a bad thing?
Because it's the off season. It's the off season. That's like me the other day on Twitter saying.
I think we're having some technical difficulties.
I can see you perfectly. I just don't think you have your AirPods plugged in correctly. Well, this is the Nap Nose Buffalo show.
Are we back?
We're fine now. I don't know what's going on. No.
I still can't hear you.
Well, I can hear you. This is great.
We're actually gonna
this is the content that you get when you listen to the Nap Nose Buffalo show. This right here. This is what y'all all look forward to is content from the Nap Nose Buffalo.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then we're in. All right. I don't really know where we left off at this point because
I do.
We had so many technical difficulties.
No, that's fine.
For anyone watching, sorry. That's all going to be everything that we just went through. Probably 10 minutes of technical difficulties. That's all cut out, obviously, for anyone listening. This is not a very smooth transition to anything, but here we go. Casey, where were we at?
The point is it's the off season, and yes, the Bills did win the trade for, Shady and Kiko Alonso and all that good stuff, just for the fact that Shady actually produced afterwards. Now, Kiko, he went to the Eagles. He played 1 year with the Eagles. It was kind of a down year because it was a trade year. I believe anytime you trade for a player, they're always going to have a down year the next year, right? Except for Stephon Diggs. Obviously, that busts that theory. But then right after that, Kiko was traded to Miami, where he did put up pretty average numbers. I think he had one really good year in Miami. And then after that, it kind of went downhill from there. And I don't believe Kiko's in the league anymore. And Shady has gone on to he played very well in Buffalo for 3 years. Was it 3 years, 4 years? 3 years. He was with us for 3 years, and then he went to Tampa, or was it Kansas City? Won a Super Bowl there, and then
he went to Kansas City,
and then Tampa.
Won the Super Bowl. Tampa won the Super Bowl. Didn't really help out the team for either of them.
No.
But that doesn't. I mean, when you win the Super Bowl, you still get to say you won the Super Bowl. He was still a part of that team.
At the end of the day, it's like when I saw that what's his name for Cleveland
And
Cavaliers.
it was 4 just for anybody.
Was it
It
4?
was 4 seasons,
Okay.
yeah.
4 seasons. But like I said, it's the off season, so that's like me looking at basketball Twitter and quoting the tweet and saying, "Hey, I think the Bills should pick this guy up." The dude is obviously trolling. The dude is obviously just trying to get people to react, and you reacted to it, and it got into. But that's the off season.
He won. He got me.
He won.
Got me. What do you want me to say? He won. Whatever. I'm still like he's still. The whole reason I brought it up, honestly, was because I just wanted to call him an idiot personally, because that's such a bad take. That whether he's trying to troll or not, it was just a bad enough take that I just had to get that out there. So that was really my entire thing that I wanted to say.
It's the off season.
And then the last topic before we get into
last topic.
Dawson Knox went to Tight End University, TEU as they're calling it, and I believe that's put on by George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Greg Olsen.
That's it.
Those are the 3 main guys.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome. I am very excited about that. I know a lot of people are so up and down on Dawson Knox, and I don't know. Like, I'm not saying this is going to make him like a superstar by any means. I don't think the Bills use the tight end position enough for that to happen. However, this is going to do a lot of good things for Dawson Knox, putting him in position to be more successful than a lot of us probably think he can be. Now, whatever the stats end up meaning based off of that, who knows? But I think this is going to be really good for him in terms of just how can he produce on the field?
Yeah, it's always great to see people going back to college. Eventually, I would like to go back to college, so I'm proud of him. I hope he gets his degree from Tight End University. I don't think credits transfer to this establishment, but I'm very excited to see what he will do. I think at the end of the day, just seeing him want to better himself is always like a plus, right? Because if like say Stephon Diggs, right, there's a wide receiver, you know what I'm saying, and a bunch of big name wide receivers were going, and Stephon Diggs got invited, and then he went. We would be out of the moon. We'd be like, yeah, dude, he's gonna do this. Same with Josh. Same with any position, like any of the main guys, like Trey. If Trey went out and was doing this as well, like we'd be over the moon. We'd be like, man, he's gonna have a big year. But then we start looking at the tight end positions, like what Greg Olsen said. He basically said, put some respect on the name. So I mean, it's awesome that he's going out and he's doing that, and hopefully it does translate. Like, you always want to see not your superstars, but you always want to see like players on your team.
You want to see everyone, everyone on the team go out and do whatever they can to better themselves. And you actually hear when we talk to Antonio Williams, he'll talk about kind of his own process of how he's doing that, because I think everybody has a different process. But I really like that they're doing this for tight ends because. And this is something Greg Olsen mentioned, like the tight end position, you're pretty much playing 2 positions in one. Like, you're expected to be a wide receiver, albeit not as athletic as just about every wide receiver. And you're expected to be pretty much an offensive tackle without being as big as an offensive tackle. Like, that's what they're asking you to do as a tight end. So for Dawson Knox to come into the league after being a quarterback in high school, really not being utilized in college because there was 2 superstar wide receivers on the team, and then having to really start to learn how to play that position, like actually learn, it's a slow developing position. So I think getting him in with a bunch of other tight ends who are, whether they're learning the position just like him or they're already those superstar players, I think that's going to do wonders for him. And I really, really hope that whatever he learns, whatever he gains from Tight End University, that we're able to see a better product from him on the field this coming season. I think we should be able to.
I'm a huge Dawson Knox supporter, like huge. Like, everybody knows that. The dude's from Tennessee, big time fan of his. He's gonna have a breakout year this year.
Yeah, and I mean, breakout year for a tight end could be like, that could be 500 yards, it could be 600 yards. Like, that's technically a breakout year, because that would have put him in the top 10 of all tight end yards last year. Like, that's a really good season. So he doesn't have to have that 1,000-yard season. He doesn't have to have the Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, George Kittle season. Like, he doesn't have to have those types of numbers for it to be a breakout year. But if he continues on the trajectory that he's been on over his first 2 years, which was decreased drop rate, as well as just being able to, pretty much just decrease drop rate, honestly, because he had an increase in targets last year. So if he can decrease the drop rate again, then I think that combined with just learning the nuances of the position even more is going to be great for the offense, great for him, just great for the Bills in general. So I'm really excited to see how that translates for him on the field. Speaking of transitions, this is a terrible one, but we got an interview coming up.
What? When?
Yeah, I know. We got an interview coming up. It's crazy. You were a part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I was on my best behavior. Pierre, Rico, Bobby. I was on my best behavior. Okay, I didn't embarrass us.
No, I don't think we embarrassed ourselves. I don't think we embarrassed Buffalo Fanatics. In fact, as you so humbly mentioned earlier in the show, Antonio Williams really liked us. I think we're best friends now. I think we might be the number one Antonio Williams fan club now.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. So I'm really excited for everyone to listen to the interview, watch the interview, however you're consuming this, because Antonio Williams was awesome. He was a lot of fun to talk to. He gave us some really interesting sound bites about himself, about his work ethic, about a random fact at the end about himself that really caught us off guard. But yeah, I think we're best friends now, and who knows, maybe you'll catch us in Buffalo at some point hanging with Antonio Williams. We'll see.
Just hanging, just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling with our boy.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for our part. Let's hop over to the interview now. And this is Antonio Williams. All right, let's welcome on a very special guest. For anybody watching on YouTube, you can all see who it is. Buffalo Bills running back, Antonio Williams. Antonio, what's up, my man? How are we doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little drained, been out in the sun today. Had a kart racing event today, so that was pretty good. Okay. All right, and you, before we got on, you said that you were the one driving. Yeah. So let's just start right there, because I know if anybody follows you on Twitter or anything like that, they know, or just any social media, they know you're big into NASCAR, you're big into racing, but I didn't know that you were actually going to be trying to drive cars yourself. I thought this was something that you were just more backing, that you were interested in. So tell us a little bit about this. You said you're actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty decent. I think I am on the business side of it. Like you said, I am a big backer of Joe Graff and anybody that I can get involved with in NASCAR. But as a kid from North Carolina, I've been watching the racing my entire life. And if a guy can get in the car and drive it, why not? So I'm pretty solid. Came in second today. Had some really good times. So it was pretty good. And is this just going the regular loop, or is it more like IndyCar style? How is this working? Yeah, it's IndyCar style. Okay. Can you tell, I'm not really too familiar with racing. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. You're good. So what would a normal day of that look like for you if you're the one racing? Do you get out there early and start doing a couple of laps and try and get in the right mindset? Are you the type of person who just like to show up and just get going? Yeah, so today was I've always raced a lot of karts, and me and Joe race all the time, and I've always been super close to him in those races, and he's always blown away. He's like, "Dude, you're really good." I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty decent." So today was the official first one for me. So I got there kind of early and watched the other guys warm up. My kart wasn't ready yet, so I didn't even get any warm-up laps. So we went 3 races. The first 2, I came in 4th both times, and then the last one I went second place. So. Okay, there we go. I like that. Absolutely, man. Yeah. So let's get into some football talk, and then we can get back to actually. You know what? Actually, before we do the football talk, I did have a regular kind of NASCAR-ish question. Okay. So, and this is just general teammates of yours. So let's say Joe Graff can't drive that day, and you have to pick one of your teammates on the Bills to drive for you. you're not allowed to. It's got to be one of your teammates.
Yeah.
Who are you picking? Who's driving your car for you? Who's going to get you the win?
After riding with this guy a good bit in my time in Buffalo, I'd probably say Christian Wade.
Oh, really?
Probably.
Okay.
Wait, when it comes to getting you to the airport at the last, Christian Wade is the guy to call. So
he's your guy.
Yeah.
So I've been fighting Bill's Twitter about Christian Wade, and this is actually very funny, and it made me nervous. So one day, like I just keep putting out the video of Christian Wade on the preseason game where he just absolutely smoked everybody, right? Because Bills Mafia they love that clip, so I just keep putting it out. And I said Christian Wade goes Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I was being facetious and I was being smart aleck because everybody loves that one clip. So I said Christian Wade goes Zoom, and my man liked it, right? And I'm sitting at work and I'm like, this dude thinks that I'm making fun of him. Like I just said he goes Zoom, and he just liked the tweet. So I'm sitting here thinking like Christian just staring at the screen being like, this guy. You know what? I'll show him. I'm just gonna go ahead and like the tweet, right? So he knows that I'm watching him, and I was like, "Oh, I done made him mad." So.
You probably didn't make him mad. You got to do a lot to make that guy mad. So
well, I mean, it makes sense because you just said you'd pick him as a driver. So Christian Wade goes Zoom is facts. I mean, that's facts.
It lines up. It lines up perfectly.
Yeah. As soon as you said Christian Wade, I was like, Casey, please mention that. All right, so actual like football stuff. Let's start with the big game that everybody's going to remember first, obviously, and that's the game against the Dolphins, Week 17 last year. I think that's probably the best place to start, and then we can kind of backtrack and then go at wherever else we end up finding ourselves. Let's just kind of, what was the feeling going into that game, knowing like, hey, I might get my first like legitimate NFL action this week. I'm going to get a good chance to get a bunch of touches. Who knows what I can make happen? Like, how were you approaching that week? Was it any different than other weeks, first of all?
No, I kind of approach every week like, I've always been told no matter what, depth you are, approach things like you're the starter. And that's kind of how I go. So I think that was just I give credit to just my preparation throughout the season. That's what that comes into. But as far as going into the game, I was just excited, man. I was just happy to be out there. Me personally, I knew what I could do, and I just needed the opportunity to go out there and show it. So that it was super exciting.
And was that something that you knew, like going into the game, that not only were you gonna get to play, but you were probably gonna get a chance to get you got like a full half of being that main go-to back in the second half of the game. Did you know that was a likely scenario, or was it more just like am I going to get my chance to kind of build up that week?
Yeah, I had no idea. I knew I was going to be active. I knew I had a good chance to play, but I didn't know when or if that was going to happen. And I think we were up, maybe a touchdown or two touchdowns, something like that, coming out of half. And, running back coach comes up to me, is like, get ready. I was like, I'm always ready, doc. So
up a whole lot more than that at the end of the game. That's for sure.
It was exciting, man.
It was a lot of fun to watch. That's something that we kind of talked about before you got in here, is that everywhere you've been in a really crowded running back room. Like you were at OSU, 4-star, 5-star guys coming through there every single day, pretty much. Like they just recruit nonstop. Yeah. You go to North Carolina, you got Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, and yourself. Like that's a crowded running back room. And then you come to Buffalo, and now you have another crowded running back room. But it seems like everywhere you go, when you get that chance to actually get in the game and make something happen, you make the most of it and you make something like actually happen. Like you scored 2 touchdowns against the Dolphins, and like you have, I was looking at some of your stats from North Carolina. You think like 6.7 yards per carry, and then another, I think it was like 5.8 or something like that. Like really good numbers. What is it that like about yourself that allows you to do that, where it doesn't matter who else is around, it doesn't matter the situation? You're just, when you get an opportunity, you're going to get it done.
Yeah, it's just having that confidence in yourself, man, and just understanding that you got to control what you can control. And one of those things is when you get that chance, man, you've got to go and do what you got to do, because you don't know if you ever get it again. Like you said, at Ohio State, I played with JK. Me and JK played it together. Mike and Vontae here at UNC, we had a kind of a three-headed monster there, and you never knew who was going to be that guy that week. It was a crazy rotation. So, coming from that, I really think it's been beneficial for me in the NFL because, a lot of teams now, there's not really one guy. There's a few guys around the league that is that one bell cow back, but having that rotation where guys can come in and plug in here and there, I think that I benefit from going through that in college.
Yeah, definitely. Casey, I know you had something you wanted to ask.
So Bills Mafia, they love you. They absolutely love you because of the Week 17. They see that and they're like, this kid, this is our number one running back. They are all about you, right? And then earlier in the offseason, my man Motor decided to take a shirtless pic, right? And it blew up. And everybody is like, y'all better watch out. He's going off. He's going to go off this year, right? It's really two questions. The first one, why are you not posting shirtless pics on Twitter or Instagram for Bills Mafia to say, hey, now Williams is working, right? And the second one is like, you're in this room with two people who Motor and Moss, like they are going in. They are the future. Bills Mafia, they want to see you start. Like, how are you preparing to go in? And I know you kind of answered that a little bit. Like, you are that guy, right? Whenever somebody calls your name, you're going to be ready. But, like, how is it? Like, on the dirt floor, how are you preparing? Know that they're getting all the hype, and you're just kind of in the foreshadow of everything.
Yeah. To answer the question number one, the only thing you'll find on my social media is football, NASCAR, and some esports.
Look. If you want to just take your shirt off and let Bills Mafia see that you have been working, I know Nap won't stop you. I'll hesitate a little bit, but I'm going to do it for the views. It's up to you, though. I'm leaving that in your court.
I don't know if anybody has told you this, but according to social media, if you're not posting pictures of yourself after or during a workout, you're not working. So
you're not working.
According to social media now.
And it's the off season, so I know you're in the best shape of your life. So,
look, I am in really good shape right now. I won't lie to you. But it wouldn't be as good of a surprise if I showed everybody all the time.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Bring back the crop top jerseys. So when you play with Buffalo,
we do that. I'll rock one in the preseason just for you guys.
Okay, there we go.
We'll hold you to it.
Yeah.
But being in the room with Motor and Zach, man, it's they're two really good running backs. They're two. I think what they get, they deserve it, man. They put up the college numbers. They produced in the league so far. So they've got more tape than me. That's just how it is. That's just the more you can show people, the more hype you get. But what am I doing to prepare? I'm just doing what I've always done, and that's just the way I train. Is that if I feel like I'm not going hard enough, or I always have a thought in my head, somebody is going harder, somebody is outworking you. When in all reality, it's really just me going against myself. So as long as I can continue to beat myself every day, get 1% better every day, man, that's all I can control anyways. I don't know what Zach and Motor are doing in the offseason completely, but I do know what Antonio Williams is doing.
I like that.
I feel that. And it's funny you say that because something that me and Nap, we think of ourselves as undrafted people, right? Mm-hmm. We think of ourselves as undrafted. And, I'll say this for you, Kyle, like even in our personal life, outside of being content creators and stuff like that, we think of ourselves as undrafted. We're going to go out and we're going to do it, right? We've got to. We're not that number one draft pick where it's like, hey, you're guaranteed this, you're guaranteed that, whatever. We're undrafted, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to go out and we're going to work hard. So you saying that, like it spoke to me, and I know it spoke to you. So
are you with that, because obviously it sounds like you're very much self-motivated. You're able to be a self-starter no matter who's around. You're working on yourself. It doesn't matter if other people are pushing you or if it's just you. But despite that, I know a lot of players are they're training with other people. Sometimes they're off training on their own as well. Are you, outside of like OTAs and mini camps and whatnot that you've been doing with the team, have you been working with other people, with other players, or is it more just the work you need to put in? You're gonna go get your training done.
Yeah, so it's kind of a both answer to that. Sometimes I'm with Devontae, we train together sometimes. Miles.
I love him, by the way. I do. I do. I love him. By the way,
that's a great
dude, he runs smooth like butter. Like I'm telling you.
But yeah, I train with Vontae here and there. We're actually getting a session in the morning, and then Chaz Serrato trained with me, and those guys we train here and there. But the majority of my training is me. It's just me. I have my running back coach that I go to in the off season. It's just me and him, and we go at it. I tell him, what I think I need to work on, what I've talked to the coaches about, what I need to work on, and we attack it. Every day we just go at it, whether it's me, whether it's Vontae and the other guys, it doesn't matter. The work has to happen. It's just a fact.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. What's it like working with Coach Daboll? Because you hear stories about that guy and how he's just like the most fun guy to be around. Yeah. Obviously, Casey and I haven't ever gotten a chance to interact with him or anything, but you hear stories about how like players love him. Yeah. How fun is it to play for an offensive coordinator like him and just be around an environment that he's kind of creating?
Dave's has a joke for you every day, and it's ridiculous stuff. What are you even talking about? He's funny, man. I enjoy playing for him. He's very interactive, and he wants you to be good at what you're good at. He wants you to kind of know, if you're a power runner, be that power runner. If you're a quick guy and you can use use it. He wants to utilize everybody's best abilities, and I think that's what makes us such a great offense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I see the 35 behind you.
Yeah, man.
Why? What's with the number change this year? Is there specific reasoning behind that, or was that just I like this number better? Is it because you used to wear 28? What's the reason in there?
Oh, so 35. Obviously, we all know I went undrafted, and I really didn't get a say over that one. But I was okay with 35 because my dad wore it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna rock this for my pops. I said, but Dad, I'm just letting you know if I get the opportunity to get up, I'm switching my number. So I went with 28 because I wore 24 at UNC and I wore 26 at Ohio State. So I might as well complete it with 28.
Okay, that's a fair reasoning. What was your dad's answer when you were like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm probably gonna switch away from your number here"?
He didn't care. He just said, "Make sure I get the jersey."
Yeah, that's about right.
As long as you got the jersey, the number doesn't matter at that point.
Exactly.
So last year was a interesting year for, I would say, you specifically, because you had times where you were on the practice squad, and then there was times where you weren't on the practice squad. Then there was times where you were going to be called up for the game, and then it was a very all over the place season for you. How do you personally deal with a season like that, where it's not the typical some NFL players they know they're there on game day, they know they're there every week, but you were in a situation where some weeks you were really fighting for your spot.
Yeah.
What's the mentality going into that? How do you deal with that, honestly, emotionally? Because it can't be easy going through a season like that.
Yeah, for sure. So going through it, it was extremely tough. There were times where I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go coach. This is it. This is getting old. But in retrospect, now looking back at it, I am extremely thankful to go through that, because at this point, what else can I experience in the NFL? I've been released. Yeah. I've been signed back. I've had a big game. We made it to the AFC chat. I'm so grateful for that year, because I'm a strong believer in, at the bottom of every, when you're down, at the bottom of every mountain, there's a valley, but on the other side of that valley, it's always another mountain. You got to climb it, and you'll get higher than where you were potentially. So that's what I believe in, man. And like I said, I'm just grateful, man, because I went through some stuff. I lost my granddad last year. I got involved with NASCAR. I played in my first NFL game, and I did pretty well in it. I'm happy.
Pretty well, yeah.
It was all right.
So, the fans, I know, it sounds like it was definitely tough going through that for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there was Twitter trolls and whatnot too. And I'm sure dealing with them can't be easy, but I can guarantee most of the fans that I see or I've interacted with on Twitter, people Casey said earlier, people are big fans of you in Buffalo. Like, they really want to see you succeed. So just know, like, no matter what's going on, you definitely have the backing of the fans right now.
And look, that's a big deal. It makes you feel good. It gives you a little extra motivation. Like you guys know, I'm very self-motivated, but having an entire community of Buffalo behind you, that adds a little more fire.
Oh, I bet. So you haven't actually gotten to experience like the full Bills Mafia experience yet, being in the stadium with all the fans there after their pre-gaming, tailgating out front. So now that like we're back 100% capacity, what are you looking forward to most with just having fans back in the stands, with getting to experience Bills Mafia? What are you looking forward to? And then what would you say like your expectations are?
My expectations is to so there's one game that always comes to my mind from my college days that just blew my mind. And it was we had a night game here at UNC, and we played Miami that night. And Daz Newsome caught a game-winning touchdown. It was blackout. Things were crazy, right? I'm expecting that every week in Buffalo, to be honest with you. So I'm just, I don't really know what to expect because I haven't experienced it, but I've heard so many crazy things, the table smash. And when we flew in from Denver last year after we sealed the AFC East, I've never seen this. There were so many fans at the airport, and there were people on top of I guess like a building. I don't even know how they got up there. I was like, this is wild. So that just gave me a taste of Bills Mafia. So I'm just expecting that every week.
I mean, that's Bills Mafia for you. People will. It doesn't matter. They're going to be there. They're going to be loud. They're going to be excited. Bills Mafia. We love everything Buffalo Bills. So like, yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. Would you go? We'll put a hypothetical out here. Hypothetical. Let's say things go even better than last year, and you guys win 2 more games. Well, we won't have to say what that means, but you know what that means.
Absolutely.
Would you go through a table?
I will go through tables, man.
I love that.
As many tables as I need to. That's celebration right there, and I think everybody on the team will be willing to go through a table at that point.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think you know what. Here's the deal. If that happens, can Casey and I, because we're both out of towners, we're not in Buffalo.
Out of towners.
Can Casey and I come up and put you through a table if that happens?
If that happens, hold me to it. You guys can put me through a table.
There we go. That's out there. It's out there. There's no coming back from that.
Right, we're good.
So I have 2 questions.
All right.
And then I'm done. Right. So I know you're, and look, the reason why I'm being quiet is because they have to put me like in a cage. Like I am on a leash right now because we're talking to a member of the Buffalo Bills organization. So they don't want me to say anything crazy. And of course, Antonio, I know that you listen to Nab Knows Buffalo every Friday morning. That's your routine when you wake up. I know it is. So you know how I am, right? You already know. When you score a touchdown in the NFL regular season, I am expecting you to say that was for Kyle and Casey of Nab Knows Buffalo every Friday morning. I am expecting that.
The entire thing, not just like a simple that was for NKB, just that was for Kyle and Casey. Nab Knows Buffalo every Friday morning. You have to get the whole thing out.
And I know you'll do it because you're a man of your word. I'm already waiting for the preseason to see the crop top so I can take a picture on TV and be like, he did this for us, right? And then a little emoji red heart. Like I know it's coming because you're a man of your word. My one question, right? And I know you know this is coming. I know you've been thinking about it because, like I said, you listen to the show a lot, and every time we have a guest on our show, we always ask them this one question. Do you think that I could take a tiger 1v1 in a gladiator style fight if I had a knife?
A tiger?
Yes, a tiger. Yeah.
You're fighting a tiger with a knife.
I'm fighting a knife. Yeah. So it's going to be a gladiator style fight, right? We're in a stadium, right?
Just based off of him asking this question, you know where his mind is at. By the way, yeah.
And you know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to say to that?
Don't do it.
Heck yeah, you can.
Don't do it.
Let's go.
No.
Yes. Yes, I'm telling you, look, that big cat's going to come stalking out here. Everybody's going to be cheering for it. I'm going to have pump-up music. It's going to be playing 80s hits. You know what I'm saying? The tiger's going to jump. I'm going to sidestep, right? Because I've been working on that. I'm quick. I've been doing the 3-cone drill. Like, I know what I'm doing, right?
Perfect,
That tiger ain't working out. It's just being a little cat. You know what I'm saying? It's going to jump. I'm going to take that
cat.
Boom, right there. I've been working on it. You know what I'm saying? Boom.
One time. That's all it takes.
Done. It's done. Done for.
One time.
Done for. That's it. And then I'm going to do LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Over the cat.
Just last week, you said that like every time your celebration is like the Josh Allen flex, and now you're going to switch to LeBron. What are you doing? Come on.
I think for this moment, because I know, after this interview, Antonio's probably going to text a lot of his teammates being like, guys, I just had one of the best interviews of my life. You need to listen to Nap Nose Buffalo every Friday morning. I know he's going to do that. So we're probably going to get a lot more Bills members on this team on this episode, or not this episode, but this podcast. You get what I'm saying. I don't talk.
You are fumbling right now.
And I know that's going to happen, which means that they're going to be in the stadium. They're going to be out there when I do take on the cat. So I think I have to go Josh Allen flex, right? I have to at that point. But I think I would step over the body like Ty Lue, you know what I'm saying? So I think I would do that whole thing. Yeah, so I get it. You get it.
I get it. I love it. I just love the confidence, honestly. I just love that part.
I can't believe I can't believe you just said that he would do that.
I
was really hoping that you were going to come on here and just shoot him down.
My wife looked at me earlier this week and she said, out of the blue, she said, "You know what your downfall is?" And I was like, "What's that? What is that?" She's 9 months pregnant, in case you're wondering. So she'll just say things that are kind of mean sometimes. And she said, your downfall will be your confidence. You are too confident. If you hear something, you're like, yeah, I can do that. It's like, and you should never be like that to everything. And I was like, I can
look,
do that.
The way I feel is you say that until you're proven wrong.
Thank you. And I've yet to been proven wrong. I'm always right.
That's fair. It's going to be hard for you to be proven wrong about fighting a tiger too.
I really and truly hope if that ever happens, you are not proven wrong.
Hey, look, I'm going home to my family at the end of the night.
I love it.
I'm going home.
One piece.
I can't. I'm trying to process that we've now had a couple people actually agree with you. I'm just waiting. I need to get more people back on my side for this. So was that both of your questions, Casey, or do you have another one?
Yeah, that was it. That was it, man. I'm good.
All right, I got a couple more. Pre-game superstitions. Do you have any? Like, I know a lot of people have like specific routines they got to do, or they got to listen to certain music, or like they do whatever before the game. Do you have anything like that?
I do have a routine. It's literally just, and everybody laughs at me when I say this routine because it's like I hope I come across as a super nice guy, and that's what that's who I think I am.
Yeah.
But really, what I do is I'm completely quiet. I don't like talking. And what I want to do is I walk out and I want to look at the other team and just stare at them and imagine what I'm about to do to them. So it's very like intense and just angry. I'm always angry when I'm out there. So
did you just like stare a little extra long week 17? Like longer than you normally would have maybe?
It was funny because on the Dolphins I had two former teammates and I was looking at them. I was really like, guys are on defense. I pray to God, like, you're out there when I go out there. So that was.
Were they?
Yeah, they were out there. One of them told me, they were like, Tone, you didn't have to run on us like that, bro.
That's got to be a real fun conversation. You throw them both in like a group message after the game and be like, hey, you saw what I did to you, right?
Funny though. It was fun. But yeah, I'm just intense before the game. That's it.
I get that. If you had it's a little bit of a would you rather here. Okay. You get a choice of, you're going to be on a SportsCenter top 10. We'll even put it at number 1 play. You're scoring a touchdown on this play. Mm-hmm. But you have one choice. You're either going to juke someone so they fall down like a Lamar Jackson type juke. Yeah. You're going to run through somebody like a Derrick Henry or stiff arm like Derrick Henry, I guess, either one. You're going to do one of those three. What's your go-to in that situation? You have to pick one of them.
Yeah, I'd run through them.
I like that. Just run through them. Just destroy them.
It's just something. Jukes are fun because jukes are funny to me. It's like this dude, like it just looks hilarious. but it's just something about, feeling somebody crumble as you put forth their chest or something. It's just, yeah.
You just know when you get past them that you just like took their soul.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, especially defensive backs, you run through one of them because they always have that, they fall back when you run those.
Yeah.
So you get to possibly even step on them a little bit. So it's always pretty.
You could run through them and then you could Allen Iverson, Ty Lue them too on the same, like in the same moment.
Exactly. And by that time, their teammates coming, so that you can kind of punch them with a stiff arm or something. So.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so I have a couple more quick questions.
All right.
And then we can finish it up.
Cool.
Special teams. I know you did play special teams in college.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking to try and get out on special teams a little bit, like right now too, or is that like just whatever you can do, or like how are you approaching that? Is special teams something you're trying to work your way into?
Yeah, I look at myself as just a football player. My position is a running back. I play football, whatever that is, special teams, running the ball, catching the ball, blocking. I really don't. I just love the game of football. And that's why, like you said, I did do special teams a lot in college. And that was seriously because I asked the coaches, I want to be on everything, try to help this team the most I can. I ended up winning some special teams MVPs. So I have no problem with special teams.
You said that so nonchalantly.
Yeah,
I was just won a couple special teams MVPs, whatever.
I didn't in a bad way.
Just flexing on us.
If you didn't bring it up, I was going to mention it.
Okay. But yeah, it was I could definitely play some special teams. So if I have to, I definitely would.
All right, and then I just two more. What's something that you're going to bring to the backfield? Because obviously, like Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, like they have their own skills and abilities. They have their own skill set. Like we know what they bring. What's something that you're going to bring to the backfield that's going to improve the backfield this year?
Yeah, I just feel like I have a way of I can set things up pretty good, even whether it's outside zones or inside zones. I really enjoy working off double teams and moving the linebackers, setting them up on double teams and getting one-on-ones with those defensive backs. So that's something that I enjoy. And I take pride in always going forward, always falling forward, whether it's a yard, 2 yards, 15 yards. I'm just always going to fall forward. So
I like that. That's very much Bills fans will think that's very much like this guy, Fred Jackson, right over my shoulder. That's very much like he always fell forward no matter what happened. He was always going forward. And then last thing, what's something that you want Bills fans to know about you? What, like, it could be something football related. It could be something totally random.
Yeah.
We'll just any random thing.
Just something random.
Yeah, it's your choice. Floor is yours.
I was born with 6 fingers on this hand.
Whoa. Okay. We're gonna this just got extended. Yeah. No, what you just extended the show.
I was born with 6 fingers. They took it off when I was a baby, though, and I wish I would have kept it.
I was gonna say you should have had him keep it.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. Like, imagine that glove.
Yeah, you got to get everywhere you go. You get custom gloves.
Exactly. That would have been so clutch.
You would never. Nobody with 6 fingers has ever fumbled a football.
There's no way. Imagine how far that thing would wrap around the ball, man.
Yeah.
My man said, "Oh, I had 17 fingers on this one. Don't worry about it." That's a random fact about me.
Just no big deal.
All right, next question.
That was very much like you have that locked and loaded whenever you were in school, like growing up, whatever. Your fun fact, because everybody knows when you get like start of a new school year, the teacher starts going around. You introduce yourself, tell a fun fact, tell something random that the class doesn't know. That was your go-to every year, right?
Every time. Eventually, my classmates were like, "Antonio, we know."
Like, yeah, man, come on, stop telling us. Like we've seen this by now. No, that was very unexpected.
Yeah, but my mom was born with the same thing, so I think it kind of got hereditary or something.
Maybe that's what I was missing, and that's why I wasn't better at sports, is because I didn't have that 6th finger.
That 6th finger is like a 6th sense, man. You just kind of know you can do more things.
Man, that was super unexpected. All right, I love it. This was a lot of fun. I know I appreciate you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Before we go, we like to give shout outs to our YouTube.
Oh yeah.
That come on that comment on our YouTube.
Comment,
videos.
yeah.
We have a lot of people that comment on there, and we had one person. His name is Anton Jacobson. Right, I had Knapp over here pronounced the last name for me before we went on. But he said, I am really excited to see what Antonio Williams can do. Really hope he makes it, right? So I was wondering, since we give shout-outs to him, if you – obviously he loves you, if you would give him a shout-out real quick, and his name is Anton Jacobson.
Anton Jacobs?
Anton Jacobson.
Anton Jacobson. Dude, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. I love the support, and I'll do everything in my power to make sure we make that happen this year.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're rooting for you. Definitely. We're pulling for you. We can't wait to see you on the field. We can't wait to see you scoring touchdowns and obviously doing that really long drawn out celebration that Casey mentioned earlier that definitely is going to happen. Totally.
I think, we get a flag for that.
It might be excessive celebration.
I just need it on the Twitter world because that's all that matters. If you just tweet it after the game.
We do that.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, Antonio. Can't wait to see you out on the field. We're rooting for you. We like to end the show with a Go Bills. So I'll just say, let me get a Go Bills, and then we'll wrap it around. If you can start, we'll go Casey and then me, and that's how we'll finish it, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, let me get a Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.